The developer's backyard. So, Arc System Works is talking to us. Yay! Yay! Clap, clap, clap. Guilty Gear Strive celebrates over 2.5 million total players. If this is true, you need to go to twitch.tv/LordKnight or youtube.com/LordKnightFGC. Come on, bro. Come on, bro. Come on, man. Where are you guys? Where are they? Okay, season 3 is now underway. Okay, we know this. Bros. I mean, this is season 3, huh? Right here. This is season 3. This is like half of season 3. So, respect. I feel like they might have buffed both these characters just for this art. Maybe. Maybe. Okay, anyway. This is sick. This is the new menu UI user interface. This looks really cool, but it reminds me of Injustice 1. And I was like, why did I think Injustice 1 was like hilarious, but I think this is cool? And after thinking about it, my conclusion is the problem of Injustice 1 is that the characters move. That's the thing that makes it look funny to me, is that they move. If they didn't move, I probably would think it was sick also. I think that's the thing. That fucked would be really bad. Anyway, this is cool. Each screen has a different picture too. So it's not like this whole thing is the same. It's all dynamic. New special moves. Starting this season, we'll be adding new special moves for the 15 characters on the initial roster. The first group of characters, May, Faust, Ramafal, Giovanna, Anji, and Ino, can now unleash the new special moves. Just in case there was any ambiguity on this, because in YouTube comments, there are people who like, can't wait for this character, this DLC character like Jacko to get a new move. It's the base roster first. I don't think we'll be seeing DLC. I don't think we'll see Season 2 new special moves. I don't think I'll be playing. Frankly, I think I'll be playing another game by the time like Bridget gets a new special move. No Zato either. Yes, that's the other one. Because I did make a video about the new special moves, and someone was like, "You didn't mention Zato," and I was like, "He doesn't have one." Okay. Even with the total 10 characters joining the GGST roster as DLC, some players have stuck with the same character since launch. The decision to add new special moves came from a desire to provide a new gameplay experience for such players aligned with the changes in the overall environments. To tell you the truth, we've had to spread out the additions out across future updates due to development concerns. Work is underway on the remaining characters, however, so look forward to more exciting moves in the future. So, did they say they did it? Okay, so I won't spoil it. I don't really know what their work cycle is. I feel like one thing that gaming content creators don't really touch on is developers at work, like literally, you know. I haven't heard about dev work stuff for like a few months, but you know, if you do pay attention to that stuff, you hear about like dev crunch and stuff like that. So I hope they're treating the team well, you know, like unironically. You know, like you can talk a lot of shit about like why'd you make Nago like this, or what intern made Happy Chaos or whatever, but in the end, like, I have spent thousands of hours having fun playing Arxis games, so I don't like it when I hear like, I always feel like I hear this in retrospect, but like I'll hear somebody who worked on a game that I love be like, yeah, you know, like I only had one lung while I was working on this game because I was working on it for like 19 hours a day. Or, yeah, I went bald and also lost an eye because I was working. You know what I mean? Like, I hope they're just, you know, just taking their time and like working on the game. You know what I mean? I don't want people to like be in the hospital working on fucking Guilty. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not working on like the Notre Dame Cathedral. You're working on like this fucking bullshit ass game, dude. Like, take your time. It's fine. Honestly, it's fine. And they communicate with us far, far, far more than basically any game. I can't speak for the Japanese scene. Maybe like in like Arcadia magazine and stuff, they would post about the games and things like that. But as far as like US scene, like Atlas themselves talked to us a lot, us being the player base, during Persona. And then in Dragon Ball, I want to say Bandai Namco did a pretty good job with communications, especially starting from Season 3. In Season 3, I think they started doing a really good job. They got like Apology Man to like test the characters. They come up with all this stuff. And they would have basically a Dragon Ball Direct every new character. It was super good. Like I feel like all these companies are getting way better at that. So anyway, just please be healthy. Okay, please be healthy and nerf Nago. That's what I want. I don't ask for a lot. When adding new moves, our general philosophy is to ensure the difficulty level of inputs needed to play each character remains more or less the same. For example, we plan to add simplified inputs to perform the follow-up moves for Giovanna's Chave and a future output. Surprising, actually. So, I mean, surprising, but also not surprising that that's like a thing they're focused on. Not really much to add there because, you know, I am the boring one. I don't want to say boring. I'm just like, bro, whatever they give me, you know what I mean? There's not a lot of analysis here. Like, it's cool to learn, but like, if I have to do, what's Chave, like 214H? If I had to do 214H 63S to do like Chave DP, then okay. If I have to do 214H and then I just press the S button and I get it, I'll also do that. Like, I don't care. Ultimately, we decided to convey through the straightforward name split that the move doesn't actually have an attack hitbox. It's quite common in game development to end up prioritizing clarity and go with a simple answer after exploring more complex alternatives. Okay, this sounds pretty interesting to me, by the way. One thing that this game doesn't have... So remember, I play Baiken, right? So, right now. And if you look at like a ACR... I think especially ACR, because I don't think Baiken Exert has a lot of moves, but I'm pretty sure she has a lot of individual moves. Where in ACR, she has move, follow-up, move, follow-up, move, follow-up. Her whole list is move. Like, she doesn't have a lot of, like, base moves, but she has a shit ton of follow-ups. And you could use them for, like, all sorts of situations, right? So, I find this thing related to that, kind of. One thing about this game is there's not a lot of that. There's a lot of characters have moves that you can, like, maybe like a tight moveset, but you can use the moves in a lot of situations, and you have to find out which situations to use them. And I feel like this line of thought kind of lines up with that. The references differ for each character, from Anji's moves inspired by Japanese stance and no performances to Giovanna's use of Portuguese and Ramlethal's Esperanto. The team comes up with ideas for new characters and moves through a process of intense research. Alright, someone tell me where they came up with that fucking rock. How about that? Talk to me about that, Arxis. What were you thinking? What about Ram using two big swords? We're like, you know what she needs? I need the answer. My DMs are open. My DMs are open. Alright. New battle mechanics. We have Wild Assault and Deflect Shield. The new offensive mechanic, Wild Assault, and defensive mechanic, Deflect Shield, add additional layers of depth to battle strategy. Both mechanics can be used at the cost of half the burst gauge. As they're reliant on the burst gauge, the player risks having no means to escape via Psych Burst when hit with a damaging punish. Our intent is for players to stick with Psych Burst while still learning the controls, while experienced players are ready to try other mechanics and can incorporate new strategies into their gameplay. Makes sense. I think this especially applies to Deflect Shield. So have to cast as a red Wild Assault. Red Wild Assault is the best and the easiest to use. Then blue Wild Assault is applied to a mixture of like tricky characters. I shouldn't say it like that, my bad. High skill floor characters like Jacko and HC, Asuka, high skill floor characters have it. Also mix up heavy characters have it, like Baiken and Milia, they have blue Wild Assault also. And also the unique characters like Faust have it too. And then the heavies have the white. Okay. So white Wild Assault, not white Wild Assault. Wild Assault in general is it's not too complicated to figure out how to use it. There's a lot of applications. Even blue, which I think basically everyone thinks blue is either tied with white Wild Assault or the weakest. It depends on who you talk to. Blue was the one that's the hardest to figure out how to use, if that makes sense, because it's not straightforward. You don't use it to combo off a lot of stuff. You have a guard crush, and you just have to figure out how your character uses it. So with some characters, pretty easy. Like Jacko, you do blue Wild Assault, you do minion, smile. But then their characters like Faust is like, how do you use Faust? Well, Faust is good as helping with cancel points that are weak, like 2H. You can set up strike throw off it. That's pretty good. I'm pretty sure you can do left right off it too. So it just depends on your character. Now Deflect Shield, we were talking about this at the beginning of the stream. Deflect Shield is harder to use than Wild Assault. So, and it's funny that they say this in this sentence. Like, they intend for players to stick with Psych Burst, and then more experienced players will try the other mechanics. So, Burst is pretty, we all know. You get, Nago hits you, you burst him. HC hits you, you burst him. Baiken hits you with Yozan-sen, you burst her. Okay, we get that. Milia hits you 2K2D, you burst that. Okay, that's pretty straightforward. Deflect Shield is a pretty tricky mechanic to use, and it's very reminiscent to me of Dragon Ball. Also has a similar name to Dragon Ball's 4S, the Reflect from Dragon Ball. So when Dragon Ball came out, a lot of people were like, Deflect sucks, we need a push block. I bet you can't think of a fella who was like, you guys are all capping. You might be able to think of one person who said that. Maybe. I also said this, of course. Of course I said this. Of course I said this. You already know I said this. Why are some games allowed to be so bullshit? Okay. Why is Guilty Gear allowed to be so bullshit? One of the main reasons that Guilty Gear is allowed to be so bullshit are two core mechanics. I guess two reasons, right? One is faultless defense. Two is burst. Okay. With these mechanics, and then for older Guilty Gear IB, of course, with these mechanics, they are allowed to push the limit further of how strong a character is allowed to be. Without burst, they would have to actually stub some characters. They would have to really, really weaken some characters. For example, take Zato, right? Zato, he's a character, he can control two characters at the same time, he can high-low you, he can do it multiple times. If he hits you and he breaks the wall with sword, okay. But the thing is, you always have at least one chance to get them off at reset to neutral, and then you try again. And then if you get hit again, maybe it won't go so well for you if you got hit immediately. But if there was no burst, then he would hit you once and you actually just lose the game. You lose. But with burst in a game, you're allowed to have those. So Marvel is similar. I don't know if this is the line of the developer's thought, but at least this is like my analysis. Like, the reason why the power level of that game is allowed to be so fucking insane is because you can push people off you, off any touch. There's basically no restriction. It's just when you block, you just push. You just go boom, right? So the characters have like 8-way dashes. Everyone's plus. Everyone has all this crazy shit, right? In Dragon Ball, characters don't have 8-way dashes. Their shit is not plus. Their shit is not jump cancelable. And they all have the same Gatlings. And there's only 2 attack levels, I believe. Outside of some... there's 2 attack levels and special block stun from my time playing the game. So very quickly, I was like, a push block is not the way. This game would have no offense at all. It's already hard to open people up in Dragon Ball, and the game would have no offense at all if you added a push block. They did do really smart things, and people stopped complaining about there being no push block in Dragon Ball. Probably number one thing is the assist cooldown. They changed how assist cooldown work. That's probably like their most genius, one of their most genius changes they made. Then we have Deflect Shield, right? So we have only had Deflect Shield for what's today? It's literally Halloween, so a little over 2 months. Remember that the Dragon Ball Reflect has been in the game since literally since the game came out. It's a core mechanic of the game. So when people say this is useless, it's the same energy as Dragon Ball, right? They're like, I can't just use this and say fuck you. I can't just be like, get the fuck off me. But the thing that you're not thinking about is that if you use your entire burst, you do have a get the fuck off me. It's called burst. You literally have a get the fuck off me that costs your whole burst. So why do you want a get the fuck off me that costs your whole burst and a get the fuck off me that costs half your burst? Instead, similar to Reflect, you have to use this in the right position for a good return. What type of situations? Let's look at some situations that you can mitigate with Deflect Shield real quick. In the actual video game, let's grab the video game, eh? They just want 2 bursts. If they want 2 bursts, go play BBCS. There you go. There's your 2 bursts. That game's capped. I mean, I love that game though. Smile. If you played against Eno, you've definitely seen this before. And you do whatever, right? So basically, by her doing this, you can greatly reduce this randomness, and you can do it at different timings too. It's pretty annoying for her to deal with this. Another one, and this one comes up way more. This is a simpler example just because of, we're in training mode. So in an actual match, while this is fine, you probably wouldn't have your burst here because it's Goldless having you in the corner, which means you probably already bursted already. The way I actually would want to show it is like a situation where this happens. It's pretty good. That's the main time I use it against him. Does this also apply to Gigantor? Yes, sir. Actually, I do use this against Gigantor. You kind of negate their... They probably figured out a way around it, but you kind of negate... like... I thought this was an unblockable the first time I saw it. This might not be like the perfect one, but it's the same idea. Okay, but this... I usually do it on like the... So it's not a bad application there, but that's, that's one way to use it. It's like, oh, specifically, let's get out of shit. But then also, it's like, if you play a character that, has good range, you can use the flex shield like a push. You can literally use it like a push block because different characters work different way on the push, right? You get pushed different distances depending on the attack level of the thing you did. So there's some characters that can do it like pretty liberally. Okay. So it depends on your character. You have to just look at it and think about how to use it. An easy and definite easy thing is if your character has good range, you can use it mildly liberally. I won't say totally liberally, but you could use it in a lot of spots. But those are like the two basic ways. And one, again, if your character has good range, you can just do it. I'm not gonna say you could just do it, but you can try to just do it more. Where if you know a setup that's coming, you can try to use Deflect Shield against it. But you would have to actually explore the game to do so. I did see someone in chat being like, you have to know the setup, you have to know what's coming. That's the point. Because for example, if you take this thing again, I won't do the actual setup, but yeah, that's the point. Like in last patch, you wouldn't, like, you would know this is coming, but you can't really do anything about it. Maybe there's some like, if you know it's coming, you can like fuzzy jump and shit. Like there's like small things you can do, but it's like heavily weighted in the opponent's favor. Where now there's some things where you just like, if you know and you have the resource, you can actually use it to get out. I don't actually think their intent with Deflect Shield was just like get off me. I think it was to like, oh, you can use this to wiggle out of stuff. You could use this to slide out of things. You could use this to make the situation from like doom into your favor. Then there's Johnny. We all saw him. We all know about Johnny, his character design, his battle design. His battle design is cringe. You don't need to write 2 paragraphs. Oh, this actually, we can look at this actually. This paragraph talks about how he is in this game. His overall concept remains the same as in prior games. His other special moves functioning as support for Mistfinder have been tuned to match the game design of Strive. I wonder how a Guilty Gear only old player feels about this sentence, because many game playing LK is like, yeah, I agree, he's kind of the same, right? Where someone else is like, no, he doesn't have fucking stance cancel treasure hut into da-da-da, or he doesn't have da-da-da, he doesn't have up da-da-da, And I'm just like, oh yeah, you kind of do the same shit, We spent an especially long time debating how to handle Glitter is Gold, the limited number of coins that could power up Mistfinder. This move both embodied his identity as a gambler, betting everything on the outcome of a 1 will times...
Oh, brother!
Can't help it. I can't help it because of Exerd. They're like... Oh, he only has 1 chance, limited number of coins. Oh my god, brother. I'm sorry. At the same time, the level system of Mistfinder posed potential issues such as creating lockdown situations where neither player could move or reducing the frequency of Mistfinder use outside of combos. This led us to use the card system in Strive, which uses a limited active time to build a foundation for Johnny's offense. You know, sometimes I have a theory that the new characters, the new DLC characters, be fucking people up at the office, bro. I think Johnny might have been a lot different, and he was dude. Literally, him not having a dash block, he had to have been broken. Actually, he had to have been busted, and they were like, nah. He had to have been busted and easy. I think maybe the worst thing that could happen at the office, because remember, HC slipped through the cracks, right? So the worst thing that could happen at the Arxis office is a character that's easy and broken, where like the intern is beating everybody. That's the big threat. Here's a season 3 roadmap. August, Johnny, major balance update, new moves, new battle mechanics. December, another DLC character. No dates, just December for sure. Minor balance update in December. I want to say 2.5 came out last December. Yes. And then new special moves number 2. And then, so they always say these things, but they don't. Basically, like, when they do these now, we have a pattern now of, like, they're usually pretty vague. They used to be like, oh, winter, but then winter ended up being, like, February. Then winter turned into, like, literally March, because March is technically still winter. I like this. This you can count as actual news. This might as well be placeholder. Because once they kind of know when they're going to release the thing, they do actually let us know. So I would take this as basically law unless like something happens that they have to delay it. Like with Bedman, you know. They didn't delay Testament. It was Bedman, yeah. We revealed a roadmap for Season 3 during the TGS edition of the Developer's Backyard on September 22nd. A month has passed, so we'll take this time to discuss what we have in plans for Winter 2023. So next update is in December. New character. It will have a new round of special moves, this time for 2 characters. Okay. Hello, what's up? Okay. Editing LK here. So we know one of the characters that's getting a new move. 2 characters are getting a new move, right? X character and Potemkin. Some people were memeing, some people were like whatever, but we know Potemkin's getting a new move. It's called Heat Tackle. It looks like an old movie he has, kinda. ICPM from Exerd, but it does a lot of stuff. From the little that we saw, it has armor, it's a hard knockdown, the move looks pretty fast. We already know one of the new moves. Yay for Potemkin. I hope you guys like the new move. Yay. For sure, there'll be people who are mad about this. I am also low-key not happy with this. However, I will say that will make it so that it's 8 out of the 15 characters. So already half of the base roster, actually slightly more than half because the base roster is 15 characters. Half of the base roster will have their new moves. I am pretty sure by the end of Season 3, the entire base roster will have a new special move. There's also a small scale balance update in store, focused on adjustments to new mechanics, Wild Assault, and Deflect Shield. This will include aforementioned changes to input options for some characters' new moves, such as Giovanna's Chavit, as well as fixes for issues. So there's a 2.5. Last year we had 2.5, right? There was only 2 patches. There was the big 2.0 patch in June, and then the 2.5 patch in December. This year we got our Season 3 patch in August, and they're doing another patch in December. So the patch is coming much faster. It's like Season 1 speed, right? And I mean, if they're also doing like sporadic balanced patches along with new moves, I mean, we just see what happens, right? I wouldn't expect anything too crazy. The 2.5 patch from last year was actually a pretty good patch. I want to say that 2.5 is probably one of my favorite versions of the game, I want to say, so far. I want to say they do a good job of like going really far on a big patch and then like stepping back and like tweaking things. I think they did a pretty good job about that. Out of everything that I've experienced so far, the number one thing I actually want them to nerf is Wild Assault. I talked about it in tier list video, why I think Wild Assault is too good. And how strong it is and all that shit. So I won't really repeat myself. If you want a quick summary, it's just that red is too fast, too flexible, conversion ability too good, of too much things, and the game snowballs really fast. It sucks too, because Wild Assault does help other characters have more consistent game plans, because I do think the idea of some things, right? So, for example, take Blue Wild Assault. Blue Wild Assault Guard Crush, so you can't wire see it. Wild Assault take away burst on block and hit. Also, I think it's pretty good idea. Wild Assault being super knockdown. Also, I think it's a pretty good idea. The main issue is that Red just gets way too many opportunities. Way too many opportunities. Why you might think, okay, are you not? That's cap. I shouldn't lose burst for blocking, and I would normally be with you, but the problem is in this game, burst knocks down. So I can make HC burst in the clutch, right? In the fucking clutch. We both have 10% life. We both have 50 meter. I make Happy Chaos block. He bursts me, or even worse, he gold bursts me. GG, auto GG, right? Now with Wild Assault, I can at least get them to consider, hey, I have to like press something or fight back against this thing. I'm speaking from a blue Wild Assault perspective. For red, they literally just force that shit on you because it's red and it's the best. Right? It's red and it's the best. But as long as they're committed to this burst knocking down thing, having more burst counterplay, especially because the new burst is quite a bit stronger than the old burst, you know, it's way harder to bait than before. For better and for worse, it's harder to bait than before. You have more frame advantage off it. It doesn't knock down full screen. So the way you play around burst is different in this patch than compared to previous patches. So I actually think the idea, I see the vision. I definitely see the vision. They just went too far with red. And it sucks because it's so simple, but so good. You know what I mean? But overall, I do see the vision. I actually do think it's a pretty good idea. I don't know what they could do. Like, for example, they could leave red Wild Assault speed alone, but then they don't make it take away burst on block, or like there's stuff they could do to try to balance it out. Because I think for blue, it's actually really fair. Blue is like basically the most fair one, I want to say. Blue is basically the most fair one. White is honestly pretty stupid, but it's not as dumb as red. Red is the GOAT. That's the game we're playing, but I at the very least think they should nerf red Wild Assault. I'm saying it very clearly. It's not ambiguous. I really think they should nerf it. I don't know what they're gonna do. They've done some interesting things. And then, as I mentioned before, I actually don't think they should buff Deflect Shield. I actually think it's good as it is. There's like a thing they could change. There is one thing they could change, and I would be pretty happy, but I don't know if it would do anything, is the problem. So I don't really know what they want to do. If you're interested, it's how they deal with these like non-projectile projectiles, because a lot of people were like, you know, Deflect Shield was made to fuck with HC and Asuka, but it doesn't do anything to those characters. It doesn't really do that much to Jacko. It's more like the number one spot is like you're blocking something that's multiple hits while your opponent is coming at you at the same time. That's probably like one of the main strong things about it. Another strong thing about it is like someone forces you down with something that's normally super minus. You could use the Deflect Shield to take away your landing recovery, like you did an instant block and then punish, which is another pretty good thing. But I don't think they need to go again. I don't think it should be like a Marvel push block style thing. I think it's almost perfect outside the input. So I'm really curious to see that. And I'm also curious because I almost said some stuff about characters, but honestly, like for example, take Nago, right? I would love it if they just beat the shit out of Nago. Honestly, I'm so tired of him being super good when a new version of the game comes out in a stupid way. However, I don't know how much of this is because Baiken had to be redeveloped, so I just thought he was super hard really fast, right? like HC. I was like, damn, HC is doomed. But then a couple months later, I was like, okay, Baiken can do this, Baiken can do that, Baiken can do this, Baiken can catch out like this, Baiken has this new mix-up, Baiken has this buff wall break, Baiken has, you know, you've seen the character develop over the past couple months, right? So now I play HC, and I'm like, okay, it's so hard, but it's not like absolute I'm fucked and I can't ever do anything, you know? So, I don't know. I don't think we'll see crazy changes. Because really, the thing that takes Nago to, like, infinity and beyond, like Buzz Lightyear status, is that he has White Wild. And it benefits him, it complements him so well. You know, like, I feel like he could just get you in that winning position so well. And his Wild Assault is easy to use because it's fucking invincible. Anyway, I'm curious to see what they do, though, because I actually thought they did a great job hatching Nago last patch. And that he took skill, even though I'm a hater. He took a lot of skill last patch, where as usual, I just don't like it when if you want something from me, right? I don't mind when characters are super powerful. I just don't like it when characters are lazy. I don't like it when it feels like my opponent can mostly do whatever the fuck they want, but I have to play a super precise, super specific way. I don't like that either. So probably the two things I don't like the most. I could even handle like annoying comeback mechanics. You know, I played Persona and like Dragon Ball. Like, I can deal with annoying comeback mechanics. Even though it's scrubby, it's not as bad. It's like, okay, like take Goldlewis, right? Goldlewis, he's got the fucking laser. He's got drone. Drone has a ton of counterplay. The laser is annoying, but it's like a once a game maybe, you know. And then like if you're beating him in neutral the rest of the time, then like, all right, fine. You get a Super Nintendo comeback super. Okay, like even though I meme it, it's not like, you know, like I'll be playing against him and I'll be like, oh, go to the West, lol. But like, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, we'll see. Last year's 2.5 patch was a really good patch. I'm not gonna lie. So I do have a good outlook on these things.